6 Air Force bases are set to test a new deployment strategy designed to address modern warfare challenges. New command teams will be deployed to various installations across the U.S. as the Air Force establishes air task forces to better prepare airmen for combat. The selected bases are Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Arizona, Scott Air Force Base in Illinois, Joint Base San Antonio and Dyess Air Force Base in Texas, Fairchild Air Force Base in Washington, and Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in North Carolina. Each base, representing a wide range of Air Force missions from fighters and bombers to airlifters and refueling tankers, will receive about 50 airmen to operate each task force. These task forces will train together over several months before beginning overseas deployments next year. The first 3 task forces will deploy in October 2025, with 2 heading to the Middle East and 1 to the Pacific. Another 3 groups will rotate in to replace them in April 2026. This initiative marks a shift from the fragmented deployment methods used since the post-9/11 wars, where airmen from different bases were combined into combat units without prior joint training. An Air Force official compared this new approach to the Cold War model, where teams trained and prepared together during peacetime before deployment. The task forces, led by colonels, will work alongside existing wing commanders at each base. Air Force Chief of Staff General David Ulvin has personally selected each new commander based on their experience and leadership capabilities. Each task force will comprise of commanders and executive staff for personnel and logistics management, air crews and maintainers for combat missions, and support squadrons to ensure smooth airfield operations. Teams will range from hundreds to thousands of airmen. The Air Force will determine which squadrons will form the combat support units for each task force. These units will include roles such as civil engineering, communications, and security forces, consolidated into a single team during deployment. Support staff will be expected to take on a broader range of responsibilities, such as training as multi-capable airmen to handle various tasks beyond their primary duties. Lessons from this Air Task Force experiment will guide the Air Force in implementing other aspects of its deployment overhaul. Eventually, these task forces are expected to evolve into deployable combat wings dedicated to overseas missions, separate from other wings focused on base operations at home. Colonel Morgan Lowes, commander of the 4th Fighter Wing at Seymour Johnson, reassured airmen that daily operations would largely remain unchanged during the transition. He said, "In some cases, your organization may report to a new leader, but the typical tasks will continue. The deployed combat wing will continue to generate and employ air power and prepare for deployments. The Air Base Wing will continue to support the base and now have a new emphasis on preparing for and fighting through a contested environment at home." Air Force leaders have been previewing these deployment changes for months, with various exercises exploring the new model's implementation. The overhaul aims to enhance team agility and responsiveness in the face of military challenges from countries like China and Russia, where rapid movement and resource constraints are critical. Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall said, "We need these changes now. We are out of time to re-optimize our forces to meet strategic challenges." Stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe for more Air Force news at Guardian's Lair.